This video, I'm going to be sharing with you Energy Manifestation 101. This video is going to show you how to increase your vibration so that you start to get what you want in your life by making your vibration equal to the reality you want to experience. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you, got my marker right here, Energy Field Manifestation 101, understanding a completely new idea for a way of looking at how to manifest what you want by bringing in the energy dynamics of your vibration. Now what quantum physics shows us is that everything in our life that we experience is that of vibration. Emotions are vibration. The physical matter that we see is vibrating. And it's about understanding that when we change our focus, when we do certain things, we change our vibration and then our reality changes. See, what normally happens is we normally got it moved around a little bit. So what we do is we say, okay, I want to experience something. So we go over and we try to change that thing. So it's almost like we're looking into a mirror, we're looking at ourselves and we got a comb and we're trying to comb our hair, but instead of combing our hair, we comb the mirror and we're trying to comb the hair of the reflection. And in the same way, many times we're trying to attract what we want and we're trying to change the reflection. What can I do this? Can I do that? Can I control this situation? When instead, if we first off change what we are emitting, if we change what we are doing, then the mirror itself will change because reality is a reflection. Now, the powerful part of this is that when we understand our energy field, we can then see how we can tweak our energy field to then get what we want in our life. We always get a reflection that is equal to the vibration that we are putting out. So vibration is a little bit of a general term. What does that actually mean, vibration? Well, let me use this analogy right here. Got the handy dandy notebook again. You see, I'm going to do my stick figure. My famous stick figure. We got a stick figure right here. This is going to represent a person. Now imagine that around this person is an energy field. Now this energy field goes around every single person. Everyone has, when we think of ourselves, we think of ourselves as here, oh, this is my physical body, this is where it ends. In actuality, what science shows us is that our energy field goes all the way around us, many feet around us, and we have a toroidal field that goes around us and that also goes around our heart. So in the same way, there's going to be one that goes around our head and one that goes around our heart. Now, this is our energy field. Now, this is what happened. Our vibration is an accumulation of everything within our energy field. Now, in general, for about, I would say, 30 days, there's a certain momentum to your energy field. Now, what this means is when you think thoughts, so you're thinking thoughts, you're thinking thoughts like this, you're thinking these thoughts, and what happens is you think them, and there's a toroidal field that goes around your body, so these thoughts are being recycled around you over and over again. Now, whatever you consistently think about is going to be and grow this thought form. This thought form may grow bigger and bigger and stay within your energy field, but then that pattern of thought becomes more dominant inside your energy field. And if and how, depending on how we relate to that thought, that will make us feel a certain way. So what happens is these thoughts are thought, and then what happens is they go around our energy field and they continue to recycle over and over again. That's why sometimes people may want to change, and what they do is they say, I'm going to change, and they don't immediately see the reflection in life they want. So what they assume is that, oh, it's not working. When really, there's just momentum from the prior 30 days or however long of the momentum of the prior thoughts that were thought. So it's hard to go from, I'm thinking very negatively, to like thinking positive on top of the world, unicorns and stuff. It's hard to go from one to the other very quickly. You got to take some steps in between the negative and the unicorns. You got to maybe go to like a rainbow, and then you go from the rainbow to the pot at the end of the rainbow, the lucky gold or whatever, and then you go to the next thing, and then eventually get to unicorns. So you have to go through different stages to get to the unicorns. So what I'm saying is, this is the energy field that we have. Now, the energy field that we have is always going to be equal to the reality we want to experience. So say this is more abundance, say this is relationship, whatever it is, we can't experience more of an abundance or more love unless we do not have this within our energy field right now. So this is about being aware of what we are feeling, because what we are feeling is a major part of our vibration. Now, in general, there are three main things that make up our vibrational state of being. Now, one of them is how we think. This is the most obvious one. Think. So how we think. What are we thinking of? Whatever we are thinking of, those thoughts, like I said, are coming up here, then they're getting recycled, and they're going around and around, and we will then experience in life those experiences that are equal to those thoughts. That's kind of what I was always talking about. So what we think, how we feel, the emotions we're feeling. Now, a lot of times this is what we think, it's how we relate to what we think that equals how we feel. So, for example, I could say, okay, it's raining outside, and I could say, okay, well, what I'm thinking of is raining. Raining isn't good or bad. It's just an idea, or it's just a thing that happens. But it's a neutral idea. But how I relate to that will equal how I feel. So anytime there's a feeling, there's also a belief about what that thing and how we relate to that thing is. So that's what feeling is. So when we become aware of that, we can see sometimes there may be things happening in our life that aren't that bad, but if we relate to it by thinking it shouldn't be there, we're feeling resistance, then what happens is we lower our state of being. We lower our emotion, and then we feel and experience less than what we want to experience. So it's how we relate to it, and it's the beliefs we have that equal how we feel. Now, the last one is also very simple. It's act/do. What we feel, think, act/do. All of these things create patterns within our energy field. So these three things also, we could say, something Dr. Joe Dispenza has talked about before, make up our personality. Our personality, these three things, how we think, how we feel, and what we act/do, makes up our personality, and our personality creates our personal reality. So remember that. Always remember that. So if we want to change what we experience, we must change at a certain level our personality. But when people hear that, they go, oh, I'm supposed to change my personality. That doesn't seem like a good thing. I didn't think it was a good thing either. I remember when I first saw that book. There's a book by Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's called How to Break the Habit of Being Yourself. I was in the sauna at the gym, at this gym that I go to. This is years and years ago. And it was a co-ed gym, or it was a sauna, and I was at the co-ed sauna. There was this girl in there, and she was reading this book called How to Break the Habit of Being Yourself. And I remember seeing the title, and I was like, yo, that don't seem like a good thing. Why would you want to break the habit of being yourself? Don't you want to be more of yourself? But the idea behind it is, then I saw it was by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I was like, I know that dude. He's real legit. Got the book, read it, and I realized our personality is just a habitualized set of conditioning, thoughts, actions, and feelings. So when we become aware of that, we can say, who am I? Because many times who we think we are is not really who we are. Who we think we are is just habitual. 60 to 70,000 thoughts we think a day, 90% of them are recycled from the day before, which means we're creating the same things day in and day out. We're thinking the same thoughts, we're feeling the same emotions, we're doing the same actions that we did yesterday. Therefore, we're always creating the reality that is equal to that of those thoughts, feelings, and actions. So the key is to stretch. Imagine this, stretch outside of what we have been doing to where we want to be, to the best version of us, of being and conquering our fears, of having the courage to go beyond that which we have priorly gone. Now, I'm going to share something else with you. So this in general, anytime it comes to any time we want to change our vibration, what we want to do is we want to look at where we are and where we want to be. This is the gap. There's always going to be a little bit of a gap if there's a desire. So it's become aware of where we are, where we want to be, and what we could see is the version of us, use our imagination, the version of us that has already accomplished what we want. How does that version of us think, act, and feel? And then to imagine what that is, and then to embody that. So if you want, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link at the end of this video, and I'm really going to link it. I know sometimes I say that, And sometimes I don't actually link it because I get too caught up. I do videos every day, okay? But what I'll do is I'll link up my self-image meditation, which is the most powerful meditation I've made. It's a YouTube video that you can watch. That will help you to close this gap, to embody those emotions now. I recommend that you listen to that also for 21 days. Very powerful manifestation, very powerful meditation. So in general, we're looking at all this. Okay, we can see now that our energy field goes much further beyond that which we priorly thought. Now here's something else I want to share with you. In general, it's important to look at our emotions and our emotional state of consciousness. Now, I'm not going to really write all this out because it's going to be a whole bunch of emotions, but I'm going to put a little chart right here. Boop, chart, there we go, yay. Now, when you look at this chart, what you'll see is at the bottom of the emotions, you'll see shame, fear, guilt, and then what you'll see is that you eventually get to that of willingness, then neutrality. That's a huge benchmark. Neutrality is a huge benchmark. So what we want to do is look at that, then eventually you see the more positive emotions. So you see that of love, joy, peace, and other positive emotions, willingness. And the key to this is understanding that whatever of those thoughts we are feeling, many of those thoughts, that the state of consciousness, that's called the scale of consciousness, what happens is the thoughts we're thinking that are of shame, fear, or guilt, those thoughts then correlate to what we feel, because whatever we consistently think about, we then eventually feel because of how we relate to it. And then we eventually act in accordance to that as well because of our self-image. It's something we always do our best to stay consistent to. So we think those thoughts, those shame, fear, guilt thoughts, and they continue to get recycled over and over again. So the key to this, one of the ways to really change your vibration is to first off allow the thoughts to be there and to become aware of those thoughts that come in. So when you're looking at the chart, the first step is neutrality. Neutrality is a huge benchmark because what you do is you begin to take your power back. Instead of being in the reactive mind of, oh, all of this stuff is happening to me, you observe it, you allow the thoughts to be there, and you realize that they're really just neutral. Yes, maybe something happened in the past that you feel guilty about, but it's a neutral idea. It's something that you can look at from a new point of view. You know, I felt for a long time, I felt like I wasn't worthy because if you've heard my story before, then I went through a lot of child abuse from my ex-stepmom. So when I went through all of that, what happened is I didn't feel worthy. I felt less than. And it then started to develop these thoughts of consistently thinking, which I then eventually felt, which then I acted in accordance to all of those. But a powerful step for me was when I learned how to observe those thoughts. I allowed them to be there. And then what I was able to do is to transform them by giving it a new meaning. So if you want to transform your past, because many times what happens is we have a past experience that we continue to have a pattern over. Remember, there's always a pattern of what we think, feel, and do. Then it continue to create that over and over again. So maybe, like I've explained this before, but after my ex-stepmom, who me and my brother went through, so at 15 years old, my dad divorced her, so all of a sudden me and my brother have all this freedom, but we still felt really unworthy, and we had to go through, all of a sudden we're allowed to have friends again, we're allowed to have freedom because we didn't really have freedom before that. We were allowed to eat what we want. We weren't allowed to eat that much before, so we were very malnourished and stuff. All of a sudden we have all this freedom, but we still felt all of these negative emotions. I was attracting into my life people that were very similar to her. So for example, after her, in my vibrational field, even though she left, there was still this guiltiness, there was still this feeling, this shamefulness because of having to go through her and am I worthy, am I not worthy? I then went and I worked at Nordstrom's selling women's shoes. This is when I was going to college. So when I was doing that, I had a manager who was also almost the same type of personality. She had it's called borderline personality disorder. And this person had the same exact thing, would talk to people the same way, and she was my manager. And I dealt with that for 4 years while I worked there. And it was like the same type of thing, and it was almost the same type of person. It was crazy how similar it was. But until I was able to observe it, to neutralize it, it wasn't able to go away. It went away. As funny as it sounds, 4 years I was there, all of a sudden I learned meditation. And as I learned meditation, I learned how to neutralize it. I learned how to observe it. I learned how to let the thoughts be there. I let go of the pattern, the unworthiness. Within a week, she got fired of me learning meditation. Now, she got fired because it was a long time coming. There were a whole bunch of people there. She was protected by upper management, so it was hard to have that done. And it wasn't like we were trying to get her out for no reason. It was like she was literally she was mentally and emotionally abusive to the people that worked for her. So it was like the same type of thing as the ex-stepmom, you see. But the key was claiming the power back, neutralizing the thoughts. So that's what we can learn to do. If you feel any pain from the past, it's okay. Learn to observe those thoughts, to neutralize them with that scale of consciousness by observing them and knowing it served a purpose. I gave all of that positive meaning. The positive meaning was I learned how to take my power back. Now I can help other people do the same. Because maybe if I didn't go through that, it wouldn't be as relatable, because people would look at me and go, oh, look, he probably had everything handed to him when he was a kid. He probably has always had everything work out for him, when that far from it. So it gives me that reference experience. Now, what I'm saying is that you can change the outer reflection of your life, because you always get a reflection of your vibration by first changing you. This is the way all change happens. So instead of going over there and trying to comb that of the hair of the mirror reflection, comb your hair. Change your vibration. Change how you think, feel, and act by changing your focus, by changing the way you see yourself. Remember, your personality creates your personal reality. So change your self-image, change how you identify yourself, and everything in your life will change in a very powerful way. You are so much more than you've ever thought possible, and all you have to do is you have to start to think, feel, and act as the best version of you. That's why I'm going to link at the end of this video one of the most powerful meditations that I've ever done. It's a self-image meditation. I recommend you listen to it for 21 days to get the maximum benefit out of it. But if you do that, you will start to see yourself in a completely new way. Because as you start to do that, you will change what you emit out. And what you emit out is what other people pick up on. So other people, when they're viewing you, they're picking up on what you're emitting out. So what you can do is begin to change how you see yourself. Other people will see that, and other people will then respond to you based on how you have changed. This is how powerful you are. So with all of that being said, I'm also going to be doing more live Q&As on Instagram. So if you haven't followed me on Instagram yet, I'm going to go ahead and link it right here. I do daily posts there, plus the Q&As where you can ask me questions and stuff. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification here next to the subscribe button so that you can see the daily vids that I do, because the way YouTube does things now is you actually have to hit that button in order to see the daily vids. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, namaste.